Hello, everyone. This is Benjamin. Today, I wanted to do a video on pretty much chess fundamentals and basically talking about and dealing with undefended pieces, development, pawn play, and trades. To be a little simple about it and explain myself, what I mean by these is that pretty much the way undefended pieces work is basically I'm going to be playing against a bot. The bot that I'm going to be playing against is going to be into that very shortly. I'm going to be sharing it real quick to my group so they can see it. Hopefully, you guys enjoy. And hopefully, this makes sense to everyone. If there's any questions, if you're watching it live, any questions, or if you have any questions, let's say, even if you're not live and you have any questions for any reason, then just go ahead and ask. And if you're not on live and you still have questions, you can still ask in the comments after everything is said and done. So these are the 4 things I'm going to focus on: undefended pieces, development, pawn play, and trades. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so development. One of the main things in development is develop in the center, usually with e4, d4 in the beginning. Okay, this is the French, it looks like. I normally play a different line for the French. I play some type of sideline that involves a lot of weird stuff. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to be very basic and do d4 because I don't want to confuse everyone. This is still development. And here, there's different ways to go about it. E5 would cramp the knight. Knight to c3, I think, is the main line. Capturing is the most basic, and I'm going to capture because the reason why it's not that great is considered more equal. This is more dynamic, which creates more counterplay and is more complicated. This overextends the pawn. So I'm just going to capture and have a more dry position because my goal is basically just to wait until my opponent blunders and then win, which basically is all you really have to do. As long as you don't leave an undefended piece, you should win most of your games under 1,000 because people blunder a lot. And if you focus on that part of the game, you should do well. Okay, so fix. Let me check out one thing real quick. I thought I shared to my group, but I'm a little unsure. Okay, I did. Just no one's on right now. I normally give people a heads up. I didn't give people a heads up this time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through this. So it's basically development, and look at it. Undefended pieces, pawn play, and trades. Trying to remember everything so I don't want to stay off topic when I talk. Okay, so development. I can just go ahead and play knight c3. There's so much stuff about chess that it's difficult to narrow it down, but I'm going to narrow it down for you guys. This is the best way I can do it. So the trades, for example, this is actually not a very good trade for him because this board is a little open. These pawns are gone, and bishops are better in open positions than knights are, and knights are better in closed positions than bishops. So it depends on your position if you're interested in trading or not. And in this case, it won't be that good. So I can just basically move bishop here to develop again and possibly kick for a trade that's beneficial for me. Okay. I can also develop here. If he takes and I take back, I'd have double pawns. So that would actually be considered a bad trade for me. So instead of developing into a bad trade, because I got to do development and trades. So remember, this is development. It would work for that part, but for trades, it won't work. So I can't do it because I would end up having double pawns, which is also part of pawn play. So basically, it's basically three of these reasons of why that move will be bad. All right. So in that case, this is defended by the queen, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and see if he makes this trade, which is good for me. And it's also using my pawns to do so. So these are 4 simple rules that I want you guys to learn, the guys in my group. And I'm hoping that this would be a way to get started and trying to get at least 100, 200 rating points, maybe even 50. Just watch this and try to get used to the idea of doing this in your games. So now everything's pretty much well developed. I can castle. He can castle. Everything looks pretty normal. So we're developed. Everything's pretty well defended for both of us. Everything looks pretty simple. And here it's like, what to do? Well, I can just develop my rook even more and target the king. Of course, he may castle, but this is a good half open file for my rook, even if he castles, which he did. And here, my bishop can't go here or any of these places. So now it's like, how do I improve my pieces? How do I develop? My pieces are already developed for the most part, besides my knight. My rook, I'm sorry. But I still can place them on better squares. So we have undefended pieces. This is undefended, by the way. If I target it, he'd have to move it or defend it. Like, he's already undefended, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Another piece that is weak is this pawn right here for both sides. The difference is he can actually move his queen here, and I can't because my pawn's in the way. And my pawn's blocked by my knight. So I can't like move c3 and move because of my knight. So these are actually undefended pieces in a way with their pawns. This is an undefended piece. And just to go back. All right. So how do I go about this? I can play knight to h4, maybe. But I don't really see the point of it. I mean, he can just move somewhere and then kick my knight out. This is bad, as explained before. It violates 3 of the rules. So where to go? The only thing I can see doing here is at some point possibly pushing the pawns and try to create something here. That's the only thing I can see doing. The only problem with that is that my knight's in the way. So if I move the knight out the way, I might be able to start generating an attack. But if I move the knight out of the way and he attacks my knight, I mean, I can move in. And if he trades, it's good for me because that's his bishop. So it's actually not that bad. That's what I'm considering doing. It's probably not the most accurate move, and it also puts it on the rim, which is also not considered normally well. But I feel like I have a good idea here. And then even if he tries to move up, I can just fork some pieces and take the bishop. So it kind of comes with a little bit of stuff that I like. All right, now I can come in. And if he wants to trade, that's good for me. It goes with trades. All right, and that works too. So if I take, and he takes off his pawn, and I move my knight up, I don't know. I don't like that. This trade is not very good for me. And also, he is attacking my bishop. So let's say if I move something to defend the knight again, he can just take my bishop. So if I move my bishop over, it'll be defending. If he takes, I can take. And then he can't take because then I'll take. So he can trade once if he wants to. And my pawns, I'd have 4 pawns on these 3. It's a little bit of double pawn, but it's pretty okay. So I'm going to do that and save my bishop. Okay. Now I can actually move my knight to fork his queen and bishop, so I can later take his bishop because this is an open game pretty much right now. It's not really closed in. And I don't plan on closing in my pawns. When I march my pawns up, I don't plan on gridlocking them. I'm planning on breaking through and creating threats and trying to find a way to get my pieces in the game so I can attack. Because I don't want to be in a boring situation where I move back and forth mindlessly, hoping my opponent blunders. I want to be a little aggressive, which is kind of what you have to do. Because sometimes when you put the pressure on, your opponent blunders. That's why when I play against people lower level than me, usually I blunder more than the other games because I try my best to put pressure. I'm gonna go out with that and threaten this way. Okay, and take the bishop, which is good for me. Now I have to consider how to break through. If he basically takes, I can't take back, so I lose a pawn that way. So basically, I have to move my rook here first, and then manage to bring everything up. So if the trades happen, I can take with my bishop, then he'll take, and I'll take. Everything will be traded away, and he would end up having these two pawns that are isolated, and I have two isolated pawns as well. The difference between that is that I can immediately move my queen over to put more pressure on this pawn, and actually bring my knight over to put pressure on this pawn as well. And if he moves his rook anywheres, this bishop has this pawn attack targeted. Wait, never mind. It isn't. The bishop is gone. Okay, so the bishop won't be there. So the rook this doesn't matter anymore. Never mind. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. So I'll do all those trades, and then I can find a way to manage to attack his pawn right after. I think it looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and move my rook over and get my plan going to attack the center, which I don't know if is in here. I mean, it's a little bit of trades, a little bit of pawn play, a little bit of development. And I did look at undefended pieces to make sure everything's defended properly. So it does go with those four things. I think that's basically what you should focus on right now. I think that's what everyone should focus on until you guys get more used to playing and really paying attention to things. And these trades benefit me because I get to come in and start attacking this pawn that's undefended. All right. He's attacking my rook. Now my rook can go to a dark square and not worry about being attacked by his bishop. Right now my rook is undefended. But if I put it on a dark square, since he has only one bishop, I do not have to worry about being attacked by that bishop at all. But the queen is also like a bishop, so I got to be mindful of that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I can go in and attack this pawn again, which he defended with his bishop, but I can actually try to kick his bishop out the way. And I can't do much after that. I can run queen in and then attack. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I think so. But if I go here, he moves up. I'm not attacking the bishop anymore. Might be in a bad spot. I have to move back and then just trade that off and then take extra time to attack this pawn here. I don't have time for that. I don't have enough moves. So he's done pretty good. 20 moves without a major blunder, which is kind of what it's like playing with people who are already 800 almost. He actually played pretty similar right now. Usually people around already 800. Sometimes they blunder, sometimes they not. Usually they can handle out about 20 moves usually. I blunder too, but usually it takes me about 30 moves, 40. So let's see here. I can attack the bishop because I can't come here and attack the pawn I might be able to attack the bishop and then try to get my pieces involved and then eventually bring my knight back to attack. So that's what I'm going to do. I need to get rid of that bishop. That bishop needs to be out of the way. Okay, now if I take now, he can take back. And then I might be able to target the pawn, but then he'll be able to take. I'll take. And then he can defend his pawn. And then I have to be able to defend this pawn while I move over. So I need 2 moves. And I have time. I can do that. It's not going to be a position that's really bad for me. So it's not like the extra move is going to be really that bad. Now I'm targeting the rook. He's targeting the bishop. He defends the rook. Now he's threatening this because he's protected. I can't go here because the knight. It's the plan to go up here to defend no longer exists. I was hoping that after a trade to come up here to defend and then come over. So the knight here kind of stops all that. That was a pretty good job. I can also go over here to attack the pawn and this pawn twice. So it's this is an undefended pawn, and this would be another pawn. So I'm going with that. Looks pretty good. Okay, now this pawn right here is for free. That was a lot of work just for a pawn, but definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And then after taking that pawn, I can easily go over here to attack. Now he's threatening to take here. If I take back, he can take with the knight. And then if I take, he would take, which would be bad for me. He would be trying to threaten mate. But it's not forced, so I'm okay. So should I take? Him take, I take, he takes. Well, then I have this here too. So he would have to actually take this way first and then come in. Check. This is another check. And then I can defend my king. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. All that works. I just looked at all the trades that were possible. He didn't do them. But this is a really big monkey wrench in my idea. Because if I move the bishop out the way, he'll take. And then I'll take. And then he'll take. I'll move back. He'll take. I go back. And then I'm screwed. So that's so bad for me. I can move my queen right here. So if he takes the pawn, I can call it check. So that's the only thing I can think of saving what I'm doing, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. Okay. Check. This is still turning out the way I expected it. Just a different order. Then if she takes, then I call it check and I come down. So everything happened the same way as I predicted it would. Ooh, I did not realize that. But everything happened almost pretty much how I predicted it to, except for one thing I'll be in check, which is something I didn't notice. And the second is a different order. But besides that, everything was fine. So now I can just march my pawn up. It'll be a pretty simple win. I'm just going to keep the king away. So this queen's going to stay on this file. If I have to, I'll move my king up and around just because I might have to. This would be a pretty straightforward win. I'm actually happy about this one because he didn't do a major blunder, you know? So it was a pretty straightforward of just using your pawns, basically developing, looking at your trades, and looking for undefended pieces, which I made a mistake, but I ended up being okay anyways. So okay, so I'm just going for a checkmate. My king. It doesn't matter where his king goes. I'm just gonna follow it, and then checkmate with the queen. Basically, this is pretty much how. I don't know how well you know how to do your checkmates, but okay, now here, it doesn't matter. I'll go over here. The reason why is because no matter he only has one space to move, but yeah, right here is checkmate. It's defended by the king. It's attacking this king, and it's covering the queen is covering all these squares. So that's checkmate. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more game, just to illustrate it a little bit better. Go back to the board, undefended pieces, development, pawn play, and trades. This is basically all you really need to know for the basics of chess, to be honest. Do some tactical puzzles, just do this. I've been trying to teach a lot of stuff, and I'm wondering if the stuff that I'm teaching is very confusing. And I think this is like the best way to start, the best. All right, undefended pieces, development, learn how a little bit of pawn play, and count your trades. So that's definitely what we're doing here. Oh, there's Christmas stuff too. I forget about that. Let's play Holly. Let's play Eve. I mean, Eve is fine. Okay. This is really interesting. So development is important. Develop in the center. When I see something weird like this, I just continue my normal development. I don't like playing knight to f3 because he can attack it. But I would like to do this. I may play knight to e2, but I'm attacking his pawn. So I'm developing and attacking his pawn at the same time. He attacked my pawn, but it's defended. Her pawn was not defended. That goes with undefended pieces. And now you can't move this because the queen will be under attack. Okay, so that's a really weird move. Now, if I take it, she can just go in and take here and then take my rook, which is really bad. So if I take it, let's say she takes, which is what I would expect. Is there any way that I can punish that? Sometimes you let people do their plans if you think you can have a better one. And in here, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see a way to punish. So I'm gonna play c3. So if he takes, I take back, and it keeps a good center, good pawn structure, and also I can continue my development, which is what we're talking about. And this is a weak square, so I'm gonna go ahead and start attacking that square. F7 and F2 are the weakest squares that exist. Now I know why she moved the pawn, because otherwise I'll be able to call my queen here for check. Now I can't. But I can go over here. If he takes, this would be check. The king will move over. I move back one. And there's no, is there a defense? Knight here, defense. Yeah, knight defense. So it doesn't work. I thought I had checkmate. Takes, check, move over one. I mean, unless I go here, she takes, I take the knight, and then go back for the mate. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to play a little weird. Look at trades, you know. This is a trade, and it's aggressive. Look at pawns. That was a good pawn play move to prevent check. That's checkmate. All right. And games really can be that fast or that long around this rating level. I know some people say that like the bots are too easy, But you see, the other bot was 1,000. This was 900, and they're basically almost the same level. Basically, the way it works is that, yeah, sometimes you blunder early. There was a very early blunder, a couple actually, and the other one took a little while. So, all right, hopefully that illustrates it pretty well. I'm gonna keep making videos like this. I'm gonna keep making the four fundamentals and talk about them and talk about them and talk about them and talk about them because I feel that that would be super important to do. Um, and my blunder was I'm not gonna even look at it, but I'm pretty sure my blunder was when I let him take my bishop. But all right, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna log off now. I hate this screen, but it's from here. But oh, saying something about connection. Okay, well I got this right here going. It's okay. All right, enjoy.